Now, in the last 30 years or so, TV is seen as an equivalent to film, in terms of it being seen as art. However, it was not always like that. For ages, TV was seen as the idiot box, a low form of entertainment that was consumed by idiots, thus the term idiot box. Though this would eventually change because of two shows. The first one being a collaborative effort between an Oscar-nominated film director and a famous writer when they come together.
Coming Sunday, April 8th.
She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks.
The Los Angeles Times says Twin Peaks is certainly like nothing else on television.
As W.C. Fields would say, I'd rather be here than Philadelphia.
The Washington Post calls it unprecedented. This you gotta see.
Bobby, did you kill Laura Palmer?
Sunday, April 8th, from David Lynch, Twin Peaks.
Now, I've already made a full retrospective on Twin Peaks, but what it did for TV cannot be understated, as they made it unique and went against conventions that nobody at the time had really gone against in the TV format.
Well, what we've tried to establish with each of them is a kind of hyper-realism that goes beyond sort of your basic narrative conventions. I mean, instead of the trustworthy deputy who's there and solid in every crisis, we see a guy who's a deputy in a small town who maybe isn't really emotionally equipped to deal with the occasional brutality that he's faced with.
And they certainly did. They took a more story-driven approach, with interesting cinematography and unusual protagonist and some dark themes. And the big thing it did for TV was bring surrealism into TV. And in one scene in particular, a dream sequence which is so famous and influential it's been referenced ever since. The most famous example being in The Simpsons.
News. Ask the mule what he's going to. Come back in style.
Another big series that did happen was Oz. However, I have not personally seen it, but I have heard very good things, and that it did really push the boundaries for violence, especially on TV. Now, this scene is one of the biggest and most important in TV history, as it influenced one series in particular.
Down here right away, we're exterminating.
A grand jury has been impaneled to investigate possible mob activities in the Garden State.
Could the Sopranos family business be taking its final hit?
Federal indictments.
Are you sure about this?
We going to Lamb now, it's open season. Oh, you better give me your jewelry.
I'm not giving you my engagement ring. This isn't stolen. Is it?
Is it Anthony? Those indictments? His father could take it in stride, but he can't.
So you're telling me that you're planning a vacation, but you're not sure exactly when it will be?
I may never go.
Anthony Soprano, we have a search warrant.
The Sopranos, a new original series from HBO.
Right now, just when things are going good.
A new show Sunday night at 9.
The Sopranos, a show about a gangster, Tony Soprano, and his problems with the mob, his family, and him seeing a therapist. And this is seen by many as the most important show and what truly started the golden age of TD drama, which introduced or popularized the concept of difficult men.
I mean,
somebody said it was the 20th anniversary, and I was just shocked.
Sopranos was the beginning of a particular genre, you know.
You can see the influence of The Sopranos, certainly in all the anti-hero shows that came afterward.
People seemed hungry to have a lead character that was perhaps as complicated as they are.
Tony Soprano was more like me than a...
The show was violent, shocking, and most of all had an anti-hero protagonist, which was seen as a no-no in the TV medium. This all changed thanks to episode 5 of the show, College. The episode follows Tony taking his daughter around different colleges. However, he spots a former colleague turned rat and they hunt each other down. And in a scene that by today's standards is normal, at the time was boundary pushing. Tony kills someone in cold blood. The scene was one of the main reasons anti-heroes became so popular. And of course the acting from James Gandolfini winning multiple Emmys and other prestigious TV awards. And one of the biggest things it did was give TV a more cinematic style, which influenced countless series with cinematography and colour palette.
Breaking Bad have been made if we didn't have The Sopranos.
I don't think so. I think what David Chase was able to do in creating a character like Tony Soprano was certainly paving the way to allow the space for someone like Walter White to exist.
Now, because of The Sopranos, multiple shows with anti-hero protagonists became a thing. One of the most prominent but forgotten one is The Shield, which was nearly not made due to 9/11. However, they did, and is now considered by many to be the second show after The Sopranos to change how people viewed TV, with a fantastic pilot episode which concluded with the hero doing something much worse than Tony Soprano. And the show in its first season would go on to win an Emmy for Best Lead Actor in a Lead Role for Michael Chiklis, and brought a much faster pace to TV.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Why do you think the Shield resonated so much, Michael?
Well, you know, it was a game changer. We broke through with, basic cable. There wasn't anything on basic cable when we broke through, and it really changed the whole landscape of television at the time. So,
and the next big one was, of course, The Wire, which brought in much of a more realistic tone to the TV medium, and is probably, behind Game of Thrones, the most ambitious, at least Western TV show ever made, considering how much stuff is covered in the show. And it brought in a massive black audience due to it being considered the black show by many, and made people aware of the failing society of America, and the conditions people lived in, and is now considered by many to be the best show of all time, or at least the century. Now, in a span of 1 year, all these shows ended. Of course, there were still great shows that came out, like Mad Men is the biggest one that comes to mind. However, there is one that would, in particular, carry on the legacy of The Sopranos, and The Shield, and even The Wire. And that is...
Come on! Some straight like you's just gonna break bad?
Wipe down this!
Breaking Bad is considered by many to be the greatest show of all time, and due to that, it has won tons of awards, got a spin-off, and a movie, and even eventually a statue, due to its eventual popularity among the TV viewership, and made the careers of multiple actors, and in some ways revived careers such as Bob Odenkirk and Giancarlo Esposito. And the casting of Walter White, which was initially laughed at due to Bryan Cranston being known for comedic roles, but this is now considered by many to be the greatest performance in TV history. And after that, there would be tons of more great shows. Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, Sons of Anarchy, and countless more TV shows. TV truly was now considered a high art form by many. But now, is it over? Of course, there are still great shows out there. The Bear and Severance come to my mind personally, though I do not think there has been a show like Breaking Bad or The Sopranos that stands tall above the rest. And I think the golden age of TV truly ended in 2017.
He's coming. I have to get off the phone.
Try me.
Really?
Now, I have made a video on the series, but to me it truly is the ending of the golden age of TV. Like the movie Unforgiven, yes, there were westerns after that, but the whole point of that movie was kind of the ending of the genre as it once was. And similarly, Twin Peaks The Return could be about TV itself, and the deconstruction of the TV genre, and thus it ends where it started. So, in conclusion, I believe the golden era of TV is over. But that does not mean there won't be great TV shows. The 70s is considered a golden age of cinema, and the 80s is hated. But if you look at the films that came out in the 80s, some are the best of all time. So yes, it's over, but in reality it doesn't matter, as there will continue to be great pieces of TV forever.